Alright, so this new curriculum model that we're looking at is known as DOGE, D-O-D-G-E, the DOGE approach. So, one thing that I would want you guys to do is you need to differentiate between the two. Find the similarities, find the differences. So far, what we have talked about is the origin of DOGE approach. We've talked about the 11 interest areas that kids are exposed to make sure that the kids develop as a whole, or the whole of the child develops mentally, socially, emotionally, language-wise. The child has to develop. So there are 11 interest areas that the teacher exposes the children to make sure that this holistic development has to take place. So we listed those. One of them was library, discovery. We talked about sand and water, outdoors. All these are areas where a child, when they are interacting with those things, they make sure that they have to grow holistically. Now, apart from that, we also looked at assessment, or maybe that's the last part that I was supposed to look at. In high scope approach, we say that assessment is done through observation. Do you remember that? Where you were there? Yes. In high scope, assessment of the children is done through observation. This observation, we are talking of a kind of observation which starts from day one. As the teacher is interacting with the kid, he or she is supposed to observe them. So, you enroll a child today. A week later, you see, the first week you see the child is clinging on to the teacher. He's not sharing toys with friends, he's not playing with friends, she's just alone keeping quiet. Second week, she's now detaching herself from the teacher. Third week, she's busy playing with others. So those observations are supposed to be written down. What is happening? You are assessing the growth or the development of this particular child. So as that is happening, by the end of the term or a period of time, you should be in a position to write a report about each and every child. This child was not able to do ABCD, he is now able to do ABCD. Or this child is not able to do ABCD. What are we supposed to do to make sure that he or she behaves like the rest of the class? So this is the kind of assessment we are talking about. You observe. Through observation, you are going to be able to plan, or you are going to be able to come up with a special kind of delivery to special children to make sure that everybody else is going together. Because in a middle class, it is very unlikely that you are going to administer a test. 2 hours, sit down, we've got a test for you. There are oral tests that are administered, yes. Sometimes they are filling in gaps, that's alright. But in the basic class, you can't do that. In the middle class, there are other things you can do, others you cannot. You still have to observe. So that's the kind of assessment that high scope, DOGE encourages. So if I can point out a similarity between DOGE and high scope, this is one of them. Because high scope also believes in observation, DOGE believes in observation. So, when we're talking about this observation, it's not just about looking at the children and appreciating what they're doing, but you are observing because you want to assess so that you can help them, or it is going to guide the teacher in as far as instructions is concerned. So, DOGE approach, there wasn't much that was said. If anything, you guys, we are going to read through that. We talked about DOGE is a model focused on projects or on investigation. So a child is encouraged to investigate or to explore. So as you are exploring, as you are investigating, you are taking initiative to find out something, or you are learning through your own effort. But then, what the teacher is supposed to do is that he is going to bring in different types of play or different types of activities. For example, blocks. Lego. You know Lego, right? Lego are these small pieces that people can put together and make a shape and all that. So it could be Lego, it could be those big blocks whereby the kids are going to put together and get a shape. If you give a child blocks to play around with, what do you think is, how is the child going to be helped? Blocks, where you simply stash them. Development. Which part of development is being assisted here? Blocks. Give a child the whole class. Here we have 4 blocks. Let's play with them. By the end of the day, what do you think would have been stimulated in the mind of the child?
Maybe there was something would look like a house garden.
Then what?
A house.
House?
Car.
Alright, so if the child is making a house, the child is making a car, which part of development is it?
And in terms of development, definitely to be
Which one is it? So we said that Dodge, the interest areas of Dodge approach are academic based, which include math, literacy, science, social studies, and art. Blocks. Or maybe I can start with saying which academic area is this? Is it social science? I mean social studies? Art? Okay. So the blocks could be art. How about library? How about library? I wish you guys were there when we were learning this so that you should be able to appreciate where high scope is coming from and where Dodge is coming from and what are the differences, what are the similarities. Because when I look at Dodge and you look at not Montessori but the high scope, there are some similarities. But you can also appreciate that one is more rich than the other one. So, what I would encourage you is all the models that we are going to go through, please make sure you get to know them. And among yourself, get to know all of them, but get to know two more than the rest. Because maybe you may be given a chance to differentiate between 2 models of your choice. So you discuss why you think they are the best, why you think, at what point you think they are supposed to be, what is it that will change given a chance in the particular model? It could be any other kind of question, but the point is, get to know at least the 2 models that you'll be able to explain them like at the back of your hand. Given any question, you'll be able to explain what these models are talking about. But know all of them. Okay, so having talked about the Dodge approach as well as the high scope, let's look at Montessori. the Montessori model. This one is a school of philosophy that's based on the work of Maria Montessori. Montessori is the name of the person, just like those. And she was an Italian educator, Maria Montessori. She was an Italian educator and founded the movement in 1907. Montessori is spelled as Montessori. 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 So I am saying this one is based on the work of Maria Montessori, who was an Italian educator and founded the movement in 1907. And when you're talking about Montessori education, this one is a method of education that is based on hands-on learning. Montessori is based on hands-on learning. 1. 2. Self-directed activities. Self-directed activities. 2. And collaborative play. Collaborative play. So, it is a method of education that is based on hands-on learning, collaborative play, and what's the third one? Self-directed activity. Okay. So, when we are talking about Montessori, the underlying idea of Montessori is that children are not blank slates. Children are individual learners, and teachers are guides. The underlying idea of Montessori is that children are individual learners with teachers as guides. So the first person that's supposed to be in the front is not the teacher, but the child. The teacher should only be there to guide the learning activities as they are taking place. So children are individual learners with teachers as guides. Alright, so in a Montessori classroom setting, what happens is that teachers provide children with age-appropriate activities. Teachers provide children with age-appropriate activities. What does this mean? Age-appropriate activities. What happened to Ruth? Did she come in here?
She said, slow and the children should be given an activity that is according to their age.
Okay, the children are supposed to be given an activity that is according to their age. That's true. So, in classroom, we're saying, in the classroom, the teacher is the guide, but the learner has to be in the forefront. And what the teacher as a guide is supposed to do is simply to make sure that he's providing the children with age-appropriate activities. When we're talking about age-appropriate activities, we're talking about activities that are going to be relevant to the age. The meaning also to say that the teacher is supposed to know the abilities or capacities of different ages. From this band of ages, these children are able to grasp complex ideas. These complex ideas are supposed to be broken down into simple ideas or instructions that this band of ages is supposed to brass, and so on and so forth. So the teacher has to know the developmental stages, the developmental characteristics, the developmental capacities of the children for him to be able to give the children appropriate activities. So, apart from a teacher giving the child age-appropriate activities, it is also in Montessori. The children are also given the freedom to make creative choices in their learning. So the child is going to choose what to learn. Children are given freedom to choose or to make creative choices in their learning. So, as they're making these creative choices in their learning, they can work as individuals or they can work in groups. As long as they are helping each other to reach their full learning potential. I want you to follow through these points that I am giving out, so that by the end of the day you should build an imaginary classroom of a Montessori program. So, a child is going to be given the freedom to make creative choices in their learning, but apart from that, the play materials, they are also designed for specific purposes. Play materials are designed for specific purposes. Which guides the child's play time. Which guides the child's play time. Bringing in toys into the room, but each and every toy or every equipment that is supposed to be used during the playtime for the children, they are specifically designed for specific purposes. It's not like going to the market and then you bring in everything that you're going to find that children can play with. No. If you're going to find a toy in the classroom where Montessori is being taught, you are going to find a toy that has got a meaning behind. You are going to find a plaything that is going to be played by the child, but by the end of the play, the child is going to learn something. So if you are going to find building blocks, it is because the teacher has seen that whatever play these guys are supposed to do, by the end of the day, they are going to learn it. If you are going to find baby toys or toys that look like action figures or little boys and little girls, they've got a meaning behind. So we are saying, play materials are designed for specific purposes which guide the play time. And another important idea, which is somehow different from the other two that we have been talking about, there is a wide range of edges. A wide range of agents may learn together in one classroom. A wide range of edges may learn together in one classroom. Okay, can we talk about this? What would you think would be the advantage of doing this? Different age groups in one classroom. So you've got a classroom that has got 1 year old, 2 year old, 3 year old in one classroom. What do you think would be the advantage? Easy understanding? Yeah.
Yeah. One may live from the other.
One may live.
My learn from the other.
When you say easy understanding, what do you mean?
At least
going to be easy to understand.
Okay, so like people of same age.
No, different. So he says the younger ones will learn from the older ones. Will the older ones get a chance to also learn? How? Who is going to teach them? Okay, so yeah, a classroom consists of ages of a wide range of ages, and children are encouraged to help one another. So definitely the older ones are going to help the younger ones. But you never know, there are times the young ones can also help the older ones. And children are supposed to stay in one class for 3 years. Children are supposed to stay in one class for 3 years, using the same teacher, same environment, same peers as well, before moving on to the next class. So we'll talk about that. Let us look at the key concepts of Montessori curriculum. We looked at principles of high scope, we looked at principles of Dodge. Now let us look at the key concepts of Montessori. The first one is Montessori is child-centered. Child-centered. So whatever you do, the child comes in first. So Montessori education promotes a child's innate passion for learning. And the role of a teacher in a Montessori classroom is simply to support and facilitate a child's natural learning process. The role of a teacher in a Montessori classroom is simply to facilitate and support a child's natural learning process. So children have got their own natural learning process. So what the teacher does is, they are not going to be in the forefront, but they will simply try to direct them. They will simply try to facilitate that natural learning process to continue taking place. What the teacher does, apart from supporting as well as facilitating the natural learning process, the teacher is also going to make sure that lessons are designed to foster each child's growth and independence. The teacher makes sure that lessons are designed. The teacher makes sure that lessons are designed